Come, let us explore the meditation skills every stressed person needs to learn. Please recite with me. The key to reciting this text is to relax as best you can while simultaneously reciting. Contrary to the ravings of 1001 self-help gurus, personal coaches, and con men, the experience of stress is not an indictment. Ask an evolutionary biologist and they'll tell you there are stressors. Good evening, Shivi. Some are circumstantial, some are physical, some are interpersonal, and some are mental. No, stress or dukkha is not the smoking gun proving that we believe in a permanent or independent self, that we are arrogant, cowardly, or faithless. I want to fix that real quick. I think it would be better if... Come on, machine, don't fail me now. I think it'd be easier to recite if I place this here. Let's continue. Our visceral response to stress evolved as an evolutionary mechanism in response to peril to keep us alive. To paraphrase Doctor of Philosophy Neil deGrasse Tyson, it could feel like the universe is trying to kill us. And biology has evolved mechanisms to respond to the danger appropriately. For life forms born without a stress response typically did not live long enough to reproduce and pass on their genetic traits. No sentient being is a stranger to the stressors of not getting what we want when we want it, not keeping what we like for as long as we please, and enduring that which we do not want. Birth is stressful, illness is stressful, even dying is stressful. Since stress, from the petty to the existential, is more of a rule than an exception, the wise develop strategies to deal with it. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. Having completed our introductory lesson, let's shift gears. It is Yoda Monday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I harnessed my autistic special interests and my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering. I should say reverse engineer the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers, just like you. So we turn now to the latest iteration of our practice text, Very Easy Meditation. Please recite with me. Whatever comes, may all beings let it come. Whatever stays, may all beings let it stay. Whatever goes, may all beings let it go. Let us practice the essence of mindfulness by silently and mentally reciting the three-syllable verb noticing during each inhalation. Similarly, let us practice the essence of meditation by silently and mentally reciting an additional three-syllable verb relaxing during each exhalation. Now remember, we are wired, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Let's dig it. All right, let's recite a passage from the vast expanse of the diamond-like mind, composed many centuries ago by Prahevajara, translated from the Tibetan by Chokya Namkai Norbu, translated from the Italian by Adriano Clemente, adapted and amplified by yours truly. Please relaxingly recite with me. The suffering of beings is the play of energy that can reveal the bodhicitta mindset of enlightenment, that fully manifests while pervading all, without ever being moved. It abides equally, just as the reaches of space. The suffering of all beings is the play of energy that can reveal the bodhicitta mindset of enlightenment. So here's what this means. There's two ideas. Here's the first one. Whatever painful sensations or pleasurable sensations we experience during our inhalation, during our exhalation, they seem to fade into non-graspability. During the next inhalation, they seem rather different once again. So, in the play of non-duality, we could say that both pain and bliss are just sensations. And we don't ignore the sensation, but we put it in a different frame. We do not do this through contemplation or belief. We do this simply through the basic practice of noticing and relaxing. So the mindset of enlightenment is the mindset that it notices and relaxes. That's it. And our method of coping with the slings and arrows of outrageous stressors is the noticing and relaxing that enlighten us. Enlightenment, of course, not being the absence of stressors, but the absence of the tyranny of stressors over our choices and utterances and deeds. This capacity to notice and release is available for every healthy human being. That fully manifests while pervading all. Without ever being moved, it abides equally, just as the reaches of space. So there is a myth of the elitists. There are those who are elitist and those who are egalitarian. Those who are elite would say, well, you need a special teacher and a special student and a special companions and a special teaching and a special place. And the egalitarians say, wherever you go, you can practice this. You don't need a special place. You don't need a special time. Anyone can do this. You don't need to be a special person. The ultimate teacher is our own capacity to notice and relax in harmony with our in-breath and out-breath. So contrary to the ravings of religious elitists, this is an easy path, a quick path for all beings. It's not for the elite. The late Chagdud Tulku taught that Maha Yoga was for the angry, Anu Yoga was for the horny, and Ati Yoga was for the stupid. This is Ati Yoga. It's for everybody. The suffering of beings is the play of energy that can reveal the bodhicitta mindset of enlightenment, that fully manifests while pervading awe. Without ever being moved, it abides equally, just as the reaches of space. And here's the funny thing. As we breathe in, we might automatically notice one thing or a few things. But as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel like all borders and boundaries and labels, including me, tend to fade to a vast expanse. At least that's how it can feel, at least momentarily. The suffering of beings is the play of energy that can reveal the bodhicitta mindset of enlightenment, that fully manifests while pervading awe. Without ever being moved, it abides equally, just as the reaches of space. What are some of the things that we could notice? We could notice perceptions. We could notice sight. We could notice sense, flavors, sensations, sounds, and sights. We could also notice emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Let's practice. And remember, the only label we need to use is simply noticing. Got pleasure? Noticing. Got pain? Noticing. Got boredom? Noticing. Got a memory? Noticing. Perhaps you sense a pattern. Good evening. Welcome aboard. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist recitation, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. Right now, let's together do two things at one time. During each exhalation, let's physically relax as best we can while reciting the 10th quatrain, or I don't know, it's difficult to put the word here. I guess it's the 10th passage. Let's just say that. That which is the equality of all distinctions is conceived by figuratively saying it is karma. Were it really or literally under the power of the punitive myth of karma, self-originated wisdom would not exist. So we begin with a duality. That which is the equality of all distinctions is conceived by figuratively saying it is karma. So something that was explored in a previous passage is this, that active focus as well as active contemplation are not part of the path. They are distractions on the path and do more harm than good. Similarly, trying to figure out the cause of everything in our life, every petty inconvenience, is not only a Herculean task, but it causes us to forget our practice, which is to notice the petty inconveniences as we breathe in and to relax as best we can as we breathe out. That will not necessarily make the petty inconveniences go away, but it will help us to cope with them. That together, that which is the equality of all distinctions, is conceived by figuratively saying it is karma. And now the author contradicts himself, inferring that this was a figurative statement. Were it really or literally under the power of the punitive myth of karma, self-originated wisdom would not exist. If every cruelty levied upon us was a punishment, and we were just so horribly wicked we were continually punished, and we probably would not have the good karma to accomplish the path. But this was not part of Buddha's core teaching. Buddha's core teaching is the Eightfold Path. And it's all about it's all about awareness and release. And how awareness and release show us impermanence, the make of grasping and absurdity, how awareness and release fuel our loving kindness that immediately applies to the four bases of mindfulness, the mental, the interpersonal, the physical, and the circumstantial, causing us to have kind intentions, kind communication, kind conduct, and kind commerce. And lastly, the sixth fold of the eightfold path is that the more we practice mindfulness and meditation, the more our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from the centered spontaneity of love. So the only time the Buddha really mentions karma is in the wisdom teaching, saying that our body affects our ability to perceive pleasure and pain. And our experience of pleasure and pain affects our perception of intensity. And our experience of intensity affects our survival impulses. And our survival impulses affects our awareness. So that was not a punitive teaching. Now, anything good can be corrupted. Ask any kid who's ever accidentally dropped his ice cream cone. Anything good can be ruined. And that's where patriarchy comes in, with the idea teaching that it's better to be rigid than flexible, that it's better to be fearful than loving, that it's better to be superstitious than rational, that it's better to be controlling than laid back, teaching that it's better to be cryptic than lucid, teaching or claiming that it's better to be elitist than egalitarian, teaching that it's better to be cruel than kind, teaching that it's better to be competitive than cooperative. It's this type of mindset comes in and tries to control people and says you got to do the right thing or karma's gonna kick your ass. But if we have to be coerced to do the right thing, then we're not living from the spontaneous empathy that is the natural byproduct of gently training in mindfulness and meditation. Together. That which is the equality of all distinctions is conceived by figuratively saying it is karma. Were it really or literally under the power of the punitive myth of karma, self-originated wisdom would not exist. When we rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap, our subtle energies doing so could gently invite our subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the heart region of our chest. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Let's go over here. Now, if I remember correctly, I forgot to check something, so I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to consult my handy dandy root text. And now the 10th verse. Okay, and now the 11th verse. Thank you for your patience. Really appreciate that. Okay, excellent. Thank you for indulging me. Let's recite and relax. The cause is the diamond-like or Vajra Buddha nature, as are the secondary conditions. So, the cause of our ability to practice the Buddha's path is not our virtues or vices, but the very fact that we have a Buddha nature, the very fact that we have a sympathetic nervous system, ideal for mindfulness, a parasympathetic nervous system, ideal for meditation, an anterior cingulate gyrus, ideal for empathy. Never having been born, it cannot be destroyed. Whatever, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as if it had never been born. Since it is the Bodhi essence that exists from the beginning, our Buddha nature, since our journey is utterly predicated on noticing and relaxing and loving, the ultimate dimension is not moved by the effort of thought. So it is not our ability to believe, it is not our ability to perform mental gymnastics that can make of a boob, that can transform a boob into a Buddha. Rather, it's our ability to notice and relax in cooperation with our inhalation and exhalation. One moment. The real cause is the diamond-like or Vajra Buddha nature, as are the secondary conditions. You know, like being alive. Never having been born, it can't, when I say like being alive, I'm referring to the secondary conditions. Never having been born, it cannot be destroyed. Since it is the Bodhi essence that exists from the beginning, the ultimate dimension is not moved by the effort of thought. Beware of people who tell you the only way to become a Buddhist is to get a PhD or get a Geshe or a Kenpo degree. No. Buddha said you can do this bad boy in as little as a week. The real cause is the diamond-like or Vajra Buddha nature, as are the secondary conditions. Never having been born, it cannot be destroyed. And I have an urge to edit right now. Please bear with me. See if this fits. It does. I think it's going to make more sense now. The real cause is the diamond-like or Vajra Buddha nature, as are the secondary conditions. Never having been born, it cannot be destroyed. Since it is the Bodhi essence that exists from the beginning, the ultimate dimension is not moved by effort of thought. That is odd, isn't it? Let's see if I can't do a quick delete here. Excellent. By resting the tips of our left fingers upon the great knuckles of our right hand, and then inverting this palms up in our lap, we gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the region of our throat that feels rather tight just before we cry. Welcome to this evening's practice. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist recitation, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. I'm going to take a moment to check the accuracy of this text against the root text. I'm just funny that way. Fabulous. Thank you for your patience. In the words of Bart Simpson, Cowabunga. Let's relaxingly recite. Meditative stability of supreme quality. Being real meditative stability is beyond the tyranny of thought. Without applying thought or purifying. In accordance with nature, from thought itself, the wisdom of letting go springs forth. Meditative stability is not concentration. Real meditative stability is not contemplation. It is not our job to purify thoughts with antidotes, repressing them, but rather to notice them vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly as we breathe in, and physically relax that we might mentally release as we breathe out. If that is what we do, enlightenment becomes an inevitability. Meditative stability of supreme quality. Being real meditative stability is beyond the tyranny of thought. Without applying thought or purifying. In accordance with nature, from thought itself, wisdom of letting go springs forth. Oh, excuse me. It's been one of those days. Meditative stability of supreme quality. Being real meditative stability is beyond the tyranny of thoughts. Without applying thought or purifying. In accordance with nature, from thought itself, wisdom of letting go springs forth. Oh, excuse me. By resting the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap, we invite the real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. What is the essence of mindfulness? To silently and mentally recite the three-syllable verb noticing during each inhalation. Similarly, the essence of meditation is to silently and mentally recite the three-syllable verb relaxing during each exhalation. Come, let us dance with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems in harmony with our respiration. And remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist recitation, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 13 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.